In this video, we're going to be finding about a free-to-use application that will make your computers way more secure. You want to make sure that you listen to this video, you watch it all the way through, you click and subscribe to all that business, and you watch the other two videos that are connected to this project that are about this project.
Meet NordPass. It creates strong passwords for you, keeps them safely locked in a single place, and automatically logs you into all of your favorite online accounts. And you can access it all on all of your devices, even when you're offline. That's NordPass.
Hey Kee, thank you so much for making yourself available. This is our third video on Oxen.io and the projects that are part of the Oxen ecosystem. Now, before I introduce you, I want to remind everybody, please subscribe, follow me on Twitter, CryptoRichYT, and Kee has heard me say this twice before, how interesting Twitter has got since Elon Musk has relaxed a lot of the censorship rules. Really, really wild information coming out there. So please make sure you subscribe to me on Twitter. Also follow my official Telegram announcements channel and subscribe to me on Odyssey, bit.ly/CryptoRichOdyssey, which is censorship resistant. I post extra material there, the kind of material that YouTube frowns upon, that you want to know about. All right, Kee, thank you. Thank you again. Third video. The first video was about Oxen, which is a fork of Monero and has instant settlement times through your technology that you have. And also the second video, we talked about Sessions, which is a fully decentralized, encrypted messaging app. Very, very secure, can't be spied upon, open source code. And this one, we're going to be talking about LokiNet.
Well, Australians usually pronounce it LokiNet. But, you know, I'm fine with LokiNet as well. You know, I'll take that as a Britishism, you know.
I'll try and say it with an Australian twang, if you'll forgive me. LokiNet.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Okay, now I'm going to have the links in the video below for Oxen and also Sessions and also LokiNet.
Now, correct.
How I found out about your project is through LokiNet, which is an onion router. And by the way, if I have to say LokiNet, you have to say router, not router.
Okay, I'll try.
All right, and it's free to use. People should check out the other videos on Oxen and also check out the videos on Sessions messaging app, but this one on LokiNet. So what is LokiNet?
Yeah, so at its core, it's an onion router. So it's basically a protocol or an application which you can use which hides your IP address when you're browsing the internet. If people are familiar with applications like Tor, which is the onion router, that's what it's short for, or VPNs, they have a similar effect. VPNs work a bit differently from onion routers, but they have a similar effect in terms of that they're hiding your IP address. It's just that when you use a VPN, you're doing it in a bit more of a centralized manner. So yeah, it's probably closest to Tor, which people may be familiar with LokiNet.
Right. Now, I understand that I've heard rumors that the Tor was set up by the military intelligence or something like that, or some shady surveillance government system.
Well, that's not a rumor, actually. That's official. Tor was originally funded by the Defense Research Laboratory, which is a naval research laboratory run by the U.S. military. And they were very interested in using the technology to communicate anonymously for military purposes. But it became kind of a wider network. And that's kind of, I guess, similar to the history of the internet as well. You know, having that kind of military background with ARPANET, which was one of the first kind of big interconnected networks.
Right. And I think generally a lot of the tech, and not just the software tech, but a lot of the stuff we use in life came about because of the military or the mafia. They're the ones first, military mafia and the sex industry, and then it gets out. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
All right. And how is LokiNet different to Tor?
So I may get a little bit technical here, but basically Tor is what we call it's an onion router, but it uses transport level network layers have different levels at which you can communicate at, and Tor operates at the transport layer. So it can only move TCP packets, whereas LokiNet is way more general. It can move any type of packet. So that means that it can carry more diverse network protocols. Tor is very limited, and that means that they can't really deal with, say, voice and video calls. It's really hard to do those over Tor. Gaming protocols over Tor are really tricky as well. LokiNet is kind of a layer below where Tor is. It's on the network layer instead of the transport layer, which means it can carry everything above that. So that means TCP/IP, UDP traffic, or any custom protocol that you write on top of that. It's also kind of, we are trying to push it to be much faster than Tor, which is maybe one of the things that people would be more interested in. And also, it doesn't run on the same network that Tor does as well. So it runs on the service node network, like we've been talking about with the other service node applications. It runs on the Oxen service node network of these incentivized nodes, which are actually paid to operate. So in Tor, it's all a volunteer network run by different people around the world. But because we're able to incentivize these nodes to run, we're able to enforce a minimum level of service that they provide. And that means that we can have a bit more reliability and performance through the network as well, which we've been working on really hard to get up to.
Okay. Now, I'm not technical, and others watching this may not be either, but the upshot is, and this is from my own experience of trying to use Tor, and also Brave browser has a Tor window. It's really, really slow. Really, really slow. LokiNet, I was warned, or said, I may notice, because I asked about it on Pursuit of Privacy Telegram group, is it going to slow things down? And I was told that there might be a slight lag, but actually I haven't noticed it. I'm running it now. I pretty much run it all the time. I think I've got my VPN on as well. And I wanted to ask you, yep, my NordVPN is running as well. So I've got VPN running on top of LokiNet, or one is on top of the other, or something like that. But also, I don't need to know how a fridge works. I just need to know how to use it. And I could say that continuing with this fridge metaphor, LokiNet is just a better fridge than Tor. It cools the food faster, right? And is easier to use, and it's much, much larger. Like a TARDIS sort of fridge, you can store more in it. Okay. Right.
Yeah. I look, I may not go so far with that analogy, but definitely. I would say they're definitely different brands of fridge. They both provide different things. So Tor definitely has its place in the appliance aisle, and also LokiNet does as well. So yeah, they're kind of different purposes. But also, we also have kind of a darknet inside of Tor as well, or inside of LokiNet as well. If you've ever heard about .onion websites inside of Tor, which are kind of these anonymous servers as well that you can go and visit. We have a similar thing inside of LokiNet as well, which are hosted at .loki, at the .loki domain. Right now, it's mainly just like Wikipedia pages and random anime streams and stuff like that. But that's kind of what Tor was when they started as well. So we're kind of trying to build that anonymous server hosting part out as well.
Okay. Now, apart from speed and the ability to send greater amounts of information or data on LokiNet, what are the other benefits that LokiNet has?
Yeah, so I think it really goes back to those points that I was covering before. It's more protocol agnostic. So like a VPN, when you turn a VPN on, all of your traffic goes over the VPN, right? It's not just the web browser traffic, for example, when you use Tor browser, or the tab that you're operating in. It's everything. So LokiNet can do exactly the same thing. It can take any protocol that your computer is speaking and transmit that over the unrouted network. And also on the node side of things, there's a lot of concern about Tor and who runs the nodes in the network. For example, you don't need to have any stake in the network to run a Tor node. You could basically go on the network and set up thousands of different nodes that are all around the country. And basically become a key part of the Tor infrastructure. And then people would start using your nodes. And when they start using your nodes, you start to get a bit more information about them. So people are really concerned about that within the Tor network. That's much harder to do in LokiNet, because you need to have the stake of 15,000 Oxen to be able to want to run one of these nodes. So if you're trying to run thousands of nodes, it becomes very, very expensive very quickly, because you need to keep getting a lot more stake to run these nodes. So that's a property which we call Sybil resistance, which is a property of many blockchain systems, but it's also a property which LokiNet inherits because of our network architecture. So that's one of the bigger points. And then, yeah, as you were talking about speed, we've really tried to optimize the network for speed. And there's more stuff like exit node choice, but it goes really deep, and you can read more about it on lokinet.org.
Okay. Now, for people who haven't watched the first video yet, where we talked about Oxen, they should know that Oxen is a privacy coin. It's a fork of Monero, so it uses ring signatures and also stealth addresses. So if somebody's got a node running a node, nobody's going to know.
Exactly. Yeah, we've tried to build a bit of a stack here, from the base, which is like a private cryptocurrency. Then we kind of go to the network layer, which is LokiNet, and then we build applications on top of that, which, for example, our encrypted messenger, which is called Session. So we try to provide privacy at every single layer of the stack. And that's kind of our goal. So I think we've been pretty successful at doing that with applications like LokiNet and Session.
Okay, well, if you just hold on a second, we can have a look at my LokiNet application. Hold on. This is LokiNet. I've expanded it because I don't want to share what's on my desktop, which is a picture of me and my wife, and she doesn't want to Crypto Rich's channel. So talk me through it. It's, as far as I can tell, it's running now, right? Because it says connected to LokiNet. I've got my VPN as well, and I'll talk a bit about that. And what's this connect thing? If I wanted, why is it this?
So basically, there's two kind of LokiNet modes you can be in. So what I talked about before with the kind of the darknet that LokiNet has inside of it, this is kind of the first level of connection that you would have. So this means that you can resolve .loki domains. So for example, you can go to probably.loki, which hosts a wiki that is hosted inside of LokiNet. So when you're connected to LokiNet in this phase, you can resolve any .loki or .snode domain. The next stage of LokiNet is routing not just .loki domains or .snode domains, but everything routes through LokiNet. So that's why you would connect in VPN mode. So that's basically like using LokiNet in VPN mode, where everything that is in your computer gets routed through the Onion routing network. That's when things get kind of a little bit slower when you turn on VPN mode, because exit.loki, that exit node is hosted, I think, in Germany, and you'll be taking 3 hops before you get to that node as well, so it can slow things down. But that basically means you're onion routing all of your traffic through the network, instead of just the resolution of .loki and .snode domains. But yeah, you can see you've been running it for 4 days there, and you can see how many routers you're connected to and your pass success rate too. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty stable application when it's working, and definitely, you can choose what level of privacy that you want as well, between exit mode and .loki resolution mode, which is the mode that it's connected in now.
Okay, so I'm at this level, and it's the browser traffic that's going through the Onion router, yes?
No, so it's not the browser traffic yet. Basically, this mode would be if you typed a .loki address into your browser, then that would resolve through LokiNet. Yeah. It's
so right now I don't have. So I'm not hiding my ISP address through LokiNet right now.
No. So you're using a VPN, right? You're using a VPN.
I use a VPN. I thought it was double, triple obfuscation that way, but there's no obfuscation.
But if you typed in a .loki address into your browser, for example, then that would be double, triple, levels of anonymity that you would be getting, because you'd be going through it first through your VPN provider, then your VPN provider would send it to the onion routing network, and then it would be resolved there. But yeah, if you press the connect button, you will go online. But I will say that it probably is a bit slower than the normal network.
Okay, I'm clicking connect.
Is that grayed out or?
No, I've just got this. I don't know if you can see clearly.
Yeah, I can see that. That may be a bug. We'll need to look into that. I'm not sure exactly why that's happened. That may be, I think that's maybe related to an older version. We have a new Mac version now, which is 0.9.11, and you have 0.9.10 there.
Okay, so I need to upload that. So this is that's good. This runs on Mac, Linux, Windows, Android as well?
Not Android and iOS yet. We've had a bit of trouble integrating with the app stores there, or more accurately, integrating with Swift and Kotlin, which both have their own systems for running VPNs and stuff. So we need to do a bit more work there.
Right. Okay. Now, could I? So good thing I'm running my VPN anyway, because then I've got the security of the VPN, and I'll have a link in the description below for NordVPN, which gives you something like 2/3 discount off some of their packages. So I've been running that. So I have been obfuscating my ISP through them. I thought I was doing through LockyNet as well, but to do it through LockyNet, I need to run this. Is there any advantage in running a VPN and LockyNet VPN? Is it necessary?
You don't really need to do it. Doubling up it's basically just making your network a little bit slower for not much increased benefit. But most people will find that a VPN will be faster than going through an onion routing network, just because you have less hops. When you're using a VPN, you're basically going to the VPN location, and then the VPN location is sending it on to whatever your destination is. Whereas with an onion routing network, you have 3 intermediary hops. So you send your traffic to the first hop, they send it to the second one, third one, and each step adds a bit of latency to your connection.
Right. Okay. And the problem with centralized VPNs is the problem with any centralized applications, which is counterparty risk.
So basically they can see whatever websites or at least domains that you're browsing. It means your ISP can't see it, but you're just basically moving the problem to another person. Now,
I know NordVPN, they say that all the stuff's encrypted by ZK Snark technology and stuff, right? But as with any centralized application, we just don't know what's going on in the background, because especially if it's closed in that way, it's closed source. Now, is LockyNet, is it open source?
Yeah, LockyNet's also open source. Like every application we write, it's open source.
Okay, logs. Oh, well, that looks very interesting. I'm just going to read that later. Okay, I keep the LockyNet daemon running, yes, all the time. Now, what? There's nothing happening. Is this because I've not gone through to?
So basically, that chart will only show if you're browsing, because you're connected to LockyNet, and you'll only be sending or receiving data if you resolve a .loki name or a .snode name. That chart will be inactive until you actually put one of those addresses in your browser. If you were connected in exit mode, then it would be showing, all of your traffic would be running through this graph.
Right. Okay. Now let's go back to the main screen. Have you noticed an increase in downloads for LockyNet? How many people are using it? How's it growing? Where is it growing?
Yeah, so with LockyNet, we kind of have even more sparse statistics than we do with Session. Session has the advantage that we have the iOS store and the Google Play Store, which collect statistics and give them to us, even though we don't collect statistics ourselves. But because LockyNet is mainly a desktop application, all we really have to go off is, say, for example, like GitHub downloads. So I think there's probably been 10 or 20,000 GitHub downloads on the most recent release that we had. And then we also have some exit nodes in the network that which people can connect to, and those are up, within the multiple hundreds of users. But it's really hard to track with LockyNet what exactly the usage is at this point.
Because there's no sign up, no KYC, open source, completely free to use currently. So tell us about that, right? Because I mean, it's very generous of you to build this and give it away.
Yeah, so I think the monetization model for LokiNet will probably be around the exit connection. So just like any VPN provider, most of them will charge a monthly fee, say $2 or $3 per month, and that's basically to use their network to send packets of data to other nodes on their network or nodes on the internet. So right now we provide some free exits just because the network's quite small. But we're hoping in the future that there'll be a network of exits which pop up, which charge Oxen to be used. So, for example, you might want a specific exit node in the US, for example, to watch, US Netflix, or you might want an exit node in Spain or something. You want to watch the soccer there in Spain. We think that people will actually pay for different exit providers who provide different services, and that we'll be able to take a clip of that in Oxen as well. So that's the ultimate monetization model for LokiNet. But the resolving.loki domains will always be free, and there'll probably always be some free exit providers that are out there. It's just like if you want improved service, you may have to pay.
Sure. Okay. And with LokiNet, then I don't need to use a VPN, right? It's going to make VPNs redundant.
Yeah. I think the main thing would be like speed, though. If we can get to the same level of speed that a normal VPN provides, then I think there would be no real reason to use a traditional VPN provider, because you'd be getting additional privacy with LokiNet. So you could stop a VPN subscription. But right now we're not at that level. We're working towards it. So right now it's more if you wanted that additional privacy of using an onion routing network, that you would use LokiNet.
Right. Okay. All right. And until then, people might want to check out NordVPN with my affiliate link, which might be about. Okay. And of course, there's decentralized VPNs as well, which are a lot lower cost. Like I think MathNode do one. I did a video on them on their decentralized VPN. There's Mysterium. I've reached out to them, but they haven't replied yet. Okay. And of course, Sentinel, and MathNode is a fork. It's a white label of the Sentinel decentralized VPN. Okay. Now, it's open source. Are there decentralized downloads as well?
Yeah, so if you go to lokinet.org right now, you can download the executable file or the .dmg for Mac, or the Debian build there, and yeah, you can just grab it from our website directly, so you don't need to go through any other third party or grab it through any different thing.
But is that website, is it blocked in China and Iran and other places?
Yeah, so lokinet.org is blocked in is blocked in China. Yeah.
How could somebody in one of those parts of the world access it?
Well, so actually we're still available on GitHub directly, which is not blocked in China, because they still need to. China uses a lot of open source code from other projects to build their surveillance state and companies and stuff. Not all Chinese companies are bad, obviously, but there are some that are very bad. But yeah, they need access to GitHub. So if you go to github.com/oxenio and then navigate to the LokiNet website, you can download it there as well.
Right. Okay, very smart, because that would be useful. And then I suppose people can also get sessions.org, or I could even, it's possible, not I could, but it's possible for somebody to send the DMG file over Sessions messaging app for somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to let us know about LokiNet that we haven't covered?
No, as with our other applications, it's free to download and there's free exits out there. So just give it a go and see whether you like it or not. And it's just another tool which you can use to increase your privacy. So yeah, go to lokinet.org and have a go with it.
Yep, and lokinet.org and getsessions.org are also connected from the Oxen website, right? You can get to them through oxen.io.
Exactly.
Have the links.
Yeah, if you go to Oxen.io, you'll be able to get to the other ones.
Right. And if people want to get involved in the project, if they, find out more, I'm going to ask a silly question. Forgive me for asking a silly, obvious question, okay? Are you active with the community, growing the community?
Yeah, so we've got it's actually interesting because we're starting to really try and grow our community on Session as well, because we have a big community there. But we're also on the traditional messaging applications. If you're on Telegram, for example, we're on there, and we have fairly big Twitter accounts for Session and Oxen too. So you'll bump into those, and yeah, I definitely agree with Rich's comments. Twitter has gotten a lot more interesting over the last couple months.
It really has. Since Elon took over, it's got very, very interesting. Okay, and then if you're in a region, in a part of the world where Twitter is restricted for whatever reason, well, you could go to GitHub, download Lokinet, and then go find out what's happening on Twitter. Kee,
Exactly.
thank you so much. Really, really great talking to you. I think this is the last of our 3 videos for now. Make sure that you do watch the others if you haven't, and do check out this project, and also subscribe, comment, like, because I do other privacy focused projects as well as stuff on politics as well, which YouTube doesn't like, so it doesn't go on YouTube. Comments, questions in the description below. Between now and when I see you next, please keep filling your pockets with Loki net profits. This is Crypto Rich and Crypto Kee signing out. All the best. Bye bye.
Thanks, guys.